Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm somebody's daughter. Alright, in this video I am going to be talking about how I lost my place of employment. It was more of a bad breakup. So at this particular place I did go to an interview when I first got out of cosmetology school, and when I walked into this place, like, I just felt this overwhelming rush of like positive energy. Like, I was just so excited. Like, the wall art was beautiful. The stations had shampoo bowls at each station, you know. Your stuff went into a toolbox, and I just thought it was like the coolest freaking place. And I was really freaking excited. I was like, oh, you know, everything is so beautiful. And I, at the time, I wasn't prepared to make a 40-minute commute from where I lived to where the establishment was. And they do commission and don't get paid an hourly. So that was also a little bit of a problem because I was starting my clientele. You know, fresh out of school, you're starting your clientele, and it's like really hard to do that sometimes. And so I didn't feel like it was going to be a good fit at that time. So it didn't end up working out. But last year I was working for a company for like 8 months. In that time I was having trouble fitting in with the coworkers. It turns out the cosmetology biz is real petty, and if people don't like you, they can make you look any type of way that they want to, and you either deal with it or you get the fuck out of there. And I kept moving because I try to think of it like I was looking out for my mental health. So in the time that I was with that company for 8 months, I switched to a different location, which I was driving 40 minutes from where I was living, opposite way of where the first place I was. So since I was already driving 40 minutes the opposite direction, at that point I was like, it's not really that big of a deal anymore to be driving 40 minutes. So then I went to go and interview. I ended up showing up 1 hour late to the interview, and they still were able to interview me. I just had to go to a different location. And when I walked into there, like, at that point, like, I had I don't know if you see my previous videos, but I talk about this in my previous videos, where I had been looking for a job strategically for 3 weeks, and it is never that hard for me to find a job. And I thought that my previous employment was blacklisting me, or telling people, or telling my employers that were calling about me all kinds of stuff, who knows what, because I've never had to work that hard to find a job. And at that point, like, I was getting evicted and I needed to bring money in, and I had no idea how I was going to be able to do that if I didn't have a freaking job. So the stress was real. And if you're interested in learning more about that, or hearing more about that, you can go back and start at my the beginning of my journey, because that was definitely some shit. And I lived it, you know. So eventually so I went to the interview and I got the job. They gave me a set of clippers and a trimmer that I still use to this day because I got to get a new one, but not bad. And I was so freaking excited. Like, it was so beautiful in there. Like, the floor was beautiful. The paint was beautiful. The artwork, like, they had airbrushed the whole back wall. So, and you know, having your own individual shampoo bowl was kind of like everything. So, that was really fun. I met the love of my life there. So I'd like to say that maybe the only reason why I was in love with that place was because like something was supposed to happen that was really big at that place, and I felt the energy of that coming. So potato, but more or less that was the only good thing to come out of that place. So so when I went to the interview, I was told that I could have visitors, but if it became a problem, then it would be a problem. And there was a lady who I worked with who was extremely cynical. She was a March Pisces, and no offense to March Pisces out there, but I'm a February Pisces, and February Pisces are more loving, and because their ruler is Jupiter, and March Pisces ruler is the moon. So there's that like shadow aspect. So March Pisces tend to be a little bit more cynical. And this March Pisces in particular was extremely cynical, as in like the stereotypical hairdresser who can't stop talking shit about everything, like is never satisfied and has to inconvenience everybody around her by complaining about her life. And it weighs on me a little bit too much, and it was starting to really upset me. You know, like there was a time where I literally could not listen to her complaining anymore, and I moved. Like I went to go sit at my station, which was a little bit away from her, and she got up and came towards me, like came out and like was like trying to talk to me from there. I'm like, no, I just need my space. And she continued talking, and I'm like, okay, so you don't respect boundaries. That's great. But my boss had told me that I was doing a good job and that the clients like me, and I was getting a bunch of good reviews, and I had to cut my schedule down to part-time because I was being overwhelmed and I wasn't taking care of myself or my mental health as best as I could to be able to handle all of the energy. And that's still something that I'm struggling with now, I'll be honest. And so I dropped my schedule down to part-time, and I was working Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And then the weekends that I didn't have my kids. And with it being commission, it kind of like cut my paycheck down a good bit because it was like right around the holidays when I first started working there. I first started working there in like September. And so I had that conversation with my boss. I think it was like on the Friday that I had my kids, or it was on a Wednesday night or Thursday night or something. And then like when I was leaving for the weekend, one of the girls was like, oh, I'll see you next week or something. And I was like, actually, you'll probably see me this weekend. And I wasn't even thinking about Tuesday and Wednesday. I did end up getting an upper respiratory infection where I normally don't get sick, and I was really sick. Like I felt like I got kicked in the face, and I felt like I was literally gonna faint just by sitting up, and like my voice was all super grody, and I was like, I am not gonna be able to come into work today, you know, like I'm physically ill. And I called my boss, or I got a hold of my boss, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to come in today. I am really sick. And she was like, just make sure that you get a doctor's note. And I was like, all right, well, I did the online doctor thing thanks to COVID. And I talked to the doctor, and the doctor's like, it sounds like an upper respiratory infection. It's a viral thing, and it takes about 5 days, and you're on like day 3. So you got 2 more days. And if you don't kick it by Friday, get a hold of me and I'll get you some antibiotics or something to help you kick it. And I told my boss that I was going to try to be in the next day. Well, the next day I was not there yet. So I told her I wasn't going to come in again. And she's like, it's fine. Make sure you have a doctor's note. And the computer system that we had for booking was accessible from your phone. So you could log on to the app and see what your clients were. And so on Friday when I was supposed to go in, my kids had a snow day, and it's really hard for me to get my the father of my children to message me in a timely manner. So as soon as I knew that the kids were having a snow day, I texted my boss and I was like, the kids are having a snow day. And she says, well, you're supposed to come in at 1. Why can't you show up? And I told her that I don't remember exactly what I said, but she was like, I looked to see, when she said that, she was like, you're not supposed to come in until 1. I went to go look at my book so I could like see how late I could come in, because if I start at 1 but I don't have a haircut until 3, then I could just block myself off until that haircut where I have to be there at work. And when I looked on the schedule, it said that I was out for an emergency. So I was like, am I fired? And she was like, not trying to tell me anything over text message or anything. And she said something about like, enjoy your day. And so I was holding onto my snake, Trey, and he's getting to be a big boy. And I like moved my back weird, and I like felt like I got shot. Like I like pulled, twisted, moved something, a disc shift or something, and I literally felt like I got shot. Like I had a table right in front of me where it happened, and I had to like try to like find the table because like my vision in my left eye went completely black, and I was freaking out. Not only was I in an extreme amount of pain that it literally hurt to breathe, but I couldn't feel this arm, and my eye was like gone. And so I'm like freaking out, and I'm trying to like get myself to like the floor, and every little bit I'm trying to move, there's just another surge of pain, another surge of pain, another surge of pain. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like scared I'm so fucking scared. I'm like, I think I'm dying. I think I broke my back. I think I'm dying. Like I couldn't breathe. And I finally found the floor, and I had to call my boyfriend, and I'm like, bring me a bucket. I think I'm going to throw up. Like there's so much pain, and my body was not able to withstand it. And I'm freaking out. Like I literally thought I was going to throw up. Like there's so much fucking pain. And I was like, I thought that I was going to have to call an ambulance because like my back was so fucking fragile. I ended up like calling my chiropractor, after like calming down a little bit. I was sitting like on my knees, and I still couldn't like move my back at all. And I called my chiropractor, and I was like, I need an appointment. What is the soonest one that you got available? And they said it was like 10 something. And I think it was like 30 minutes or 45 minutes to that appointment, and I was going to try to make it because I'm in a serious amount of pain. And I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to make the appointment because like I could barely move, and any little bit of movement, it took me forever to do. Like it took me, I don't know, 20 minutes to get to a standing position. And then every time I took a step, I was in more pain. Like everything fucking hurt. Like, oh my gosh, it was terrible. I ended up getting into the car, I had to go down my stairs and get in the car, and it was snowing and there was ice everywhere. My kids had a snow day, So, my boyfriend's driving me and my kids to try to make this appointment, and we weren't going to make it in time. So I had to call him back and try to reschedule. But the only thing that they had available was for a 3-something. And we're heading up there anyway. And I'm like, I am in so much freaking pain. I am not going to be able to do anything until that chiropractor appointment. So I was like, take me to the hospital, because I am dying. We're driving on the road, and those itty bitty little bumps that you just kind of don't even notice. I was feeling all of them, and stabs and lightning and pain. I was so scared that one jolt or one good bump was going to jolt my body, and my back was going to completely snap. Everything felt so fucking fragile. And my boss texted me, and she was like, actually, can you come in tonight? Cause she was talking about a meeting for tomorrow. She was like, oh, well, we're going to have a meeting about this tomorrow. And then she messaged me back, and she was like, actually, can you come in tonight? And I'm like, I just threw out my back, but I can try to make it, I wanted to keep that job so bad. That was a job that I was really excited for. And, I went to the hospital. We're on our way to the hospital, get to the hospital, and I'm taking itty bitty little baby steps. I literally feel like an old person taking those itty bitty little baby steps, because I cannot move, and any movement that I'm making, it is extreme pain for me. And they ended up taking me in. They had to put me in a wheelchair. And even in the wheelchair, it's just I'm grateful for the wheelchair, because it would have took me 20 minutes to get inside of the building. And so I'm sitting there waiting in extreme pain and shit. But get me back, and I was trying to help the lady, because I didn't want the nurse to have to put too much effort into it. So I held on to her, and I pulled myself up, because my arms were fine. It was just my back. So I had to keep my back perfectly straight as I freaking could, because I was so scared it was going to fucking snap. And so, they gave me 2 shots in my ass. And they gave me some muscle relaxers, which I normally am not for medication at all, but I sure the fuck did take those fucking medicine, because they're literally muscle relaxers, and my back and my muscles and whatever fucking nerve endings were left, or I needed all the help that I could get, so I was there for it. And then I went to my sister's, and my sister had my kids. I finally got a hold of the kids' dad, and he was going to come and pick the kids up from my sister's. And I don't think he ended up showing up until just before my chiropractor appointment, which was at 3 or something. So when I went to my chiropractor appointment, I'm still doing the itty bitty little tiny steps, trying to hold my back as straight as possible, in extreme pain, trying to hold my back together. And after my chiropractor appointment, I stood up off the table, and I was like, oh my God, I can walk. Most of the pain was gone, but there was still a lot of pain. And to my understanding, I don't know how fast the medication was supposed to work that I was given at the hospital, but I was still in a lot of pain. The edge had definitely got knocked off after the chiropractor appointment. And so went back to my sister's house, and then we had to go to my job, because my boss wanted me to come in there. And my sister, she messed up her ankle, so she had a little cane walker, and I felt like that could help me walk, or at least make me feel a little bit more stable in my walking. So I had that little cane, and I had to walk into the building, and I had the cane, and I'm still holding my back. But at that time, it was probably I don't know, 6 or 7. I'm not exactly sure. It was dark outside, but at that point, the medication had started working. The edge was like knocked off, so it wasn't as bad as it could be, but it was definitely not like it was before. So I walk in there, and she is trying to fire me, and she's telling me that what I said to her was petty, and she sent the messages to somebody else, and that person agreed with her that I was being petty. And she said that the last time that I worked, there was a lady who called and complained. And then there was another call and a complaint about me. And, I just went through all this emotions, all this pain to get here. And I'm like, I'm trying to keep my job, and I'm trying to like defend myself without being defensive. I'm like, she would give me a reason why she didn't want me there, and I would counter it with logic, and she was just like not trying to freaking hear me. Like, she didn't even look at my doctor's notes. She didn't look at the hospital note. She didn't look at the chiropractor appointment note saying that I couldn't stand for more than 10 minutes. And she was just done with me. And one of the things that she said too was like, you're not supposed to have visitors. And I'm like, actually, I was told that I could have visitors and she was like, until it's a problem. And I'm like, this is the first time I'm talking about it. And she's like, but it's a problem. Like, you're not even giving me the opportunity to correct the problem. You're just telling me that what had happened is now a problem that's leading to my firing or my termination. So, at a certain point, I realized that there was nothing that I could do, and it fucking killed me. And I'm like crying, like hysterically. I'm like, I was like, oh, baby gets what baby wants, huh? You really want me out of your way that fucking bad? Like, I guess that I'm gonna get the fuck out of your way. And got all my stuff out, and I'm like hysterically crying as I'm like hobbling with my bag and my fucking cane out of the building. There's like 3 clients over here and another stylist, and I ended up forgetting my blow dryer, and I had my boyfriend go in and get it. It was really bad. And I think that what hurt me the most was that like there's literally nothing that I could do, and the fact that I had tried so hard really broke my heart. Like, I loved everybody there, even the cynical lady that I worked with. Like, I was like, oh, boundaries, like I just know that I want to stay away from her, But yeah, I loved them all, and I wanted to stay there because I loved my shampoo bowl, and I liked the whole thing of it, and after that, like, I mean, it was the week before Thanksgiving when she let me go, and for hairstylists, the whole 2 months before Christmas is considered blackout season, where everybody and their mom is trying to get a haircut, to look the best for the holidays. So I cannot get a job anywhere because they're trying to get them in and get them out. They're not trying to hire people. So I wasn't able to get a job until after the holidays. Like, I started this new job that I'm at now in January. So now I'm working, but during that whole time where I was like, I can't get a job again, like, I was losing my fucking mind. Like, I was so upset and heartbroken. The fact that I tried so hard to be there. I wanted it so fucking bad. And that it takes one person to be able to tell you that you can't do something, even though you can, and just sticking to it. And it killed me. It made me not want to do hair ever again. Made me distrust everything about like the industry. And, looking back at all of my experiences in the salon where, oh, they don't like me because I'm pretty and they think I'm going to steal all their clients, or they don't like me because people tip me better than they tip them, or people just like me better, or whatever. Like, I don't think of it as a competition. I think of it as, I have a cosmetology license. I'm certified to do this. This is a profession that I'm choosing, and I have kids and I need to provide for my family, and nobody seems to give a fuck about that. So, and especially since she knew that I was getting evicted, she knew that I needed money, and it was around Thanksgiving. Like, wow, you know, like some real fuck shit. But, yeah, I have nightmares where I am back there and I'm not able to do anything about it. And when I wake up, in the middle of the night and I start thinking about it, I can't go back to sleep because I can't stop thinking about it. So I'm traumatized, and the only reason why I have a job right now is because after I lost my job, my boyfriend, he started working and trying to provide for us and stuff, and he was literally beating himself to death to try to make money and be the best at everything that he does, and it was taking so much out of him. I felt so bad, and I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to like not help him to help us to be stable. So that was the push that I needed to try again. And then I found the place that I'm at, but there was so much fucking heartbreak, and even still now, like, it hurts me. Like, I've talked about this to people, to like, you know, you talk about it, you help it, but there's a hole in my heart because like I did try so fucking hard, and it hurts me and it scares me, and it's like makes me distrust putting hope into things because it doesn't matter sometimes. And it's like I'm setting myself up for failure by hoping for things or to be excited about things. And I feel like it's killed a part of me because now I am extremely closed off, or, you know, like, but yeah. So that is how how me and my place of employment broke up. It was not mutual, but thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one.